All right, my friends, welcome to another episode of the RPG Backlog. This is episode 4 of our Undertale arc with ProfPlaysGames and Scott. Scott, how's it going?
It's going pretty good.
Good. Well, we are here with the final piece of Undertale. It's basically New Home forward. We're in the save point for New Home is where we ended last time. And we progress from New Home into what looks exactly like Toriel's house from the beginning, all the way through to a fight with Asgore. And then there are lots of endings, apparently, but after that, perhaps always, maybe not, a battle with Flowey, which is absolutely psychotic. And we will talk about all of that, just absolute madness. I was blown away by the last hour of this game. But you had a different experience. You had some challenges towards the end there with Asgore. So I wanted to just kind of start there and get your thoughts.
Oh, yeah. I have so far been unable to get past Asgore. Part of it is that I'm playing on the keyboard. I'm just not like that good at avoiding damage. Yeah. The other part is that I used up all my gold and healing items to defeat Metaton. And now I have like one healing item, and it's not enough to get me through the fight. So I am thinking, I could go back into other areas and fight random encounters. Not fight, fight in quotes. Spare random encounters and get their money, and then I could get enough money to buy some healing items and then go back and probably do it. But that's probably take a little while.
And what level were you? Or are you in this battle?
That's a good question. I have 48 hit points. I remember that.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, yeah, I'm level 11, so I have 60 hit points, and I'm watching my video here. The first time I beat Asgore, I, obviously used a couple of healing items along the way. I ended with 5 hit points. Like, if I got hit one more time, it would have been over.
It's a tough fight.
Yeah. So, with 48 hit points, yikes.
I've done it so many times now, and there's some of the phases that I can sort of get through with maybe only getting hit once, but I almost always get hit like at least once. Yeah. Yep. Unless it's the phase where he's like swinging at you and they're all blue.
Right, because I just hold still.
Just hold still. I can do that.
Exactly.
Even the ones where it's like orange, blue, orange, and I'm like, okay, I got to move, then I have to hold still, and I can't do it fast enough. I can't like switch, or I don't know when to stop moving. I still end up getting hit. It seems like no matter what.
Yeah, the bullet hell aspect of the game ramps up significantly for Asgore. It's wild how many different... just throwing so much shit across the screen almost constantly and then swinging that trident that he has. Yeah.
And I don't understand how you could possibly beat that if you hadn't killed anything and had never gotten any EXP.
Yeah, because I forget what I guess I could go back and look, but I forget what the HP that you start out with, but it's got to be 5, What is it,
right.
10? I'm going to pull up my video and find out. Kind of glad that I recorded my experience of this because it's quite an interesting game overall that I don't... level 1 was 20 hit points.
Yeah, if you had a lot of healing items
and dexterity.
Or you're just a better player than I am. Like, I fully admit that, I'm not the best player. But yeah.
Yeah, I consider myself a fairly medium. I wouldn't say mediocre, but like decent, but not great. But I think the controller makes the difference. It's just a lot snappier to move back and forth. So I could not do it with a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, so, I'm sort of disappointed, but, I watched yours, you get through it, and then the whole thing that follows with Flowey, which was just, I was, like, laughing because it was so insane and ridiculous.
It's so insane!
It's, like, totally different. Like, looks nothing like the rest of the game.
Yep.
It's just, like, complete chaos. There's, like, all this clip art coming at you, and...
It looks like just some kid had clip art and put shit together. Right. That's absolutely right. With like a head with 4 eyes and teeth coming out, and then a big snout, and then a TV for like the top of the head, and then these, grass-covered arms coming at you, and it's just the most intense bullet hell. and it throws vines at you. I mean, I was just losing health constantly, and then the different icons are just around the map. You're trying to get to the fight.
Oh, right, you have
icon.
to move. Yeah, to move to like the fight or whatever to get to it to actually use it. Yeah.
And it's eventually, I mean, he's like throwing swords across the screen, but eventually, like before you get to this part, you find coffins in the middle, or sorry, like in Toriel's house, I believe, or somewhere around there. And you see that there are different colored hearts. Yours is red throughout the game, but there are different colored hearts indicating the other humans, the hearts that, that they have taken. So you're the last
souls.
one. And the souls. And if you last long enough it's just the insane amount of clip art coming at you from Flowey. If you can survive long enough, the hearts come out. And if you can avoid the stuff that's flying across the screen, you can hit the act button, which then turns those clip arts into green things that heal you. And then if you're quick enough, you can you get them to heal yourself up and then survive the next phase, which I'm watching my thing right now. I have just a sliver of health for most of these. There's like dancing shoes coming across the screen. I've got probably 5 hit points, just hoping to God I get to the green thing, and I just barely get it. It was
bonkers.
Every moment felt like I had just barely survived. Watching it now is wild because in the experience you're just so almost tunnel vision trying to avoid. But I died several times, which I didn't really die throughout the game. I think maybe once before, but here I died repeatedly.
Thing where it's like Flowey has destroyed the save game, and it's just like this complete like breakdown of the entire game.
Well, it crashes. Like I don't know if if the stream. Yeah, when it disappears, you just see my black screen. That's part of my background, but it crashed. Like absolutely, just the game closes and you open it back up. And then when it was done, I had the option to go back, and I decided I was going to go back because at the end of the Asgore fight, you can choose to fight or have mercy. Yeah. And the first one I chose to fight and just kill Asgore and move on. Yeah.
Yeah, but then when you did it the second time, didn't like Flowey say like you can't get a happy ending or something?
You can't get a happy ending. Like, what are you doing? You can't come back and get a happy ending. I was like, oh my God, this game.
Why did you give me the choice to come back if you're just going to taunt me?
So then I come back and kill Asgore, or give mercy to Asgore, and then he comes back and says, no, you can't have good things. Did you really think killing me... Let's see, what is here? It's popping up right now. Did you really think that killing me would make a difference? No. Every time you load your save, I'll come back. And every time you try to get a happy ending, I'll be there to tear it away. I'm like, oh my God. And then it goes into this the next Flowey fight, I believe. I fought him again. There's only... Oh, no, I didn't. Well, I thought I fought him twice. Am I missed? Oh, I fought Asgore twice, not Flowey twice. That's right. Okay, yeah.
And then you're like, I don't want to go through this again.
Well, you can. I'm just reviewing it right now, and after the Flowey thing, you just go into the doorway, and then it rolls credits. So don't fight him again. But I fought Asgore again to try to make a different choice, and it's like, nah, you messed up the first time, you're done. And wow, really. Really cool. It's cool to see the credits. I didn't realize that A4 was so involved in the game. They did localization support, I assume, for Japan specifically. A4 does a lot of localization in Japan, or of Japanese games to the West. They have a A4 Play is their podcast, which is pretty one I listen to quite a bit. So cool to see them involved here. But boy, just absolutely wild ending. And I can see why I barely got through it. So I can see why it was so hard with less hit points and less healing, because I had higher hit points and more healing items.
Right. And you're a better player, or you have the controller, or all of those things.
I think it's mainly just a controller. I don't think I'm a better player. Although maybe it depends on what type of games we play. Like those Twitch kind of games, I do play a little bit. I don't know what your genre is, but... Yeah,
mostly not those games. So,
Bullet Hells are kind of fun.
kind of stressful. I was thinking if I turn the music off, maybe I'd do better. Because it has, it sort of, creates like this impending need to do things and move around, and like, you know, it makes it more stressful somehow. You know, like the sort of driving combat music.
Right. Did it help at all?
No, I still couldn't get as fast, but maybe it helped a little bit. I don't know. It's one of those things, like what I really frustrates me about these sorts of situations, like this or like jumping games, where you have to like execute like a series of moves, and if you mess up one of them, then the whole thing's gone to crap. And that's kind of like that in this fight, where like if I had like one bad phase, I had like no margin for error because of my lack of healing. So yeah, and I would just get very frustrated, and then it's like, stop! You know, the music is driving me crazy.
Yep. Yeah, you really gotta like zero in and focus, right? Like, I don't know. Have you played Hollow Knight by chance?
No.
Okay, yeah, it's a 2D platformer, almost a Souls-like, in the battle where it's really precise, and there's some platforming later that's like the Path of Pain or the Path of Nails or something like that, where like you cannot mess up one time, or you're going all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, I was never good at platform games like Castlevania, the original one, or even like Super Mario Brothers. I was not very good at.
Oh man, that's my favorite genre.
Oh really? Platform games?
Yeah, platformers are my favorite. Celeste, Hollow Knight, Mario, all of them. Yep. So I can see some of those skills translating over.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, like the Twitch factor.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So also, when we're going through like the ending part, you get to there's the last corridor before you meet Asgore, and you run into Sans,
right?
Who explains that LV, you kind of think of stands for like level, or they tell you it stands for love, but then he tells you it's actually an acronym for level of violence.
Yeah, level of violence.
And EXP is not experience points; it's execution points.
Oh my god, totally makes sense.
And it's sort of interesting how it takes like, you know, these familiar, you know, like RPG acronyms, or not acronyms but abbreviations, and sort of turns them on its head.
Yeah, and that's why I think that's what I like about the whole game, is that it turns so many things on its head.
Yeah.
So what did Sans say to you that was different than what he said to me? Because I didn't feel like there was a lot of resolution with Sans in mine.
I don't think there was any different.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's sort of like a mournful or sad tone to the whole thing. Like you're walking through this giant hall, it's empty, and then you run into him, and he's just tells you, what is EXP? It's an acronym. It stands for execution points. A way of quantifying the pain you've inflicted on others. When you kill someone, your EXP increases. And he says, love is an acronym. It stands for level of violence. A way of measuring someone's capacity to hurt. The more you kill, the easier it becomes to distance yourself. So I mean, it's definitely like, you know, saying what he Sans, the character, is saying something about, you know, these RPG tropes of, you know, going around and grinding on things and killing them and leveling up, getting experience. But it's all, like, you know, based on violence.
Right. Yeah, I thought there'd be a little more judgment there, which I think we talked about last time, and that didn't really come through there. It certainly came through later, and I wonder, you know, as we've researched at the end, you know, if you've been here since the beginning, we had no idea there was a genocide path and a pacifist path, but it kind of, as we went through, yeah, obviously it seemed like there would be something like that, but now we can see there is, and there's even more varieties of endings based on who you befriended, who you didn't.
Or you killed, or you spared.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see why that has kept this game in the conversation for a decade almost now, because there's so many different ways to play it. And as you've mentioned, playing it the pacifist way, where you're not getting the level of violence points, you're stuck at 20 hit points for the whole game. So you got to stack up on those healing items, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so. Or just be very good. But that's like the challenge. Like, you know, that's like the hard mode, I guess, to play through and not ever kill anything.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking through like all the listings, all different. There's like different ending trees for each character, depending on what you do. And I didn't even know you could do some of these things. So, you know, I think that's like part of the replay value also, is that like you can kill Toriel, the ruins boss.
How?
Like I don't even remember that being an option.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you'd even do that.
Or you could befriend or betray or kill different people, or I was expecting her to come back too, because when you go into the end, the castle, you see the house, and like, hey, this is the same house as Toriel's house, just like kind of washed of any color. And then you meet Asgore, and he talks about the queen and the adopted human, and how like, everyone went away after their son died. And I'm like, oh, that's Toriel. Toriel was the queen. But then she doesn't come back. Like, she never answers her phone after the ruins. She didn't like appear in your ending at all, I don't think.
No, I didn't see her at all, except for you're in her house, and through exploring the house, you are getting a couple, like another item and another weapon, but also just running into the random encounters that are just telling you the story. But yeah, she...
Oh, that's right. You fight those, like you fight, you random encounters, but there's no fighting. It's just they kind of tell you the story of the... Yeah.
The losing the kid and just making me feel for Asgore, who I'm about to battle, and he's basically like, please God, kill me, please kill me. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to. I did oblige, and then I felt so bad about it. I came back and tried to undo it, and Flowey was like, no, I'm going to wreck you. Yeah, boy. So maybe kind of overall, from beginning to end, what's your... It's not really. We're not making a verdict, but I'm going to use that language anyways. What's your verdict on Undertale?
If I had just had this game and just played it and didn't really know anything about it, I don't know. I mean, I think the game tries to sort of steer you away from the path of violence, and then at the end, certainly when Sans tells you like, oh, level of violence and execution points, it sort of like hammers home the message. So I think. That would have really fascinated me, but it's sort of amazing to me looking at the different endings now and like all these options that I didn't even think were possible. Like I would never have conceived that you could do these things, and it's kind of amazing to me to see that. But if I didn't have like that internet, encyclopedia information available to me, I was just like, oh, that was an interesting game. It sort of was a cute little RPG and turns these conventions on their head. The writing is hilarious. The characters are great. I laughed so much throughout this game.
Oh yeah.
So I think that alone, it's really just very like enjoyable short RPG. And then also has that extra dimension of you can go through and not kill anything. I'm kind of tempted to go back and start over again and conserve my healing items, but also to see like, oh, could you go down like this absolute evil path, or could you go down this absolute pacifist path? I guess we were kind of on the neutral path according to this. We killed some people.
You helped me though. You helped me come to the neutral path because I was on the genocide path. I was killing everybody. But yeah, I think for the most part, we were kind of in the middle. It makes me think a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3, which I know you haven't played yet, so I won't spoil it. But there are some choices you make, obviously like any D&D campaign, where you can just go full evil, or not. And there's an inflection point in the story around that. And this is like at a much smaller scale. I just love how tightly told the story was. As you mentioned, the writing is really crisp. There aren't many games that like inspire me to get a sticker. I got a sticker of Papyrus on my booth. Now there's something about this game that lingers. And it's really, I think it comes down to just the convention shift, where really there's so many unexpected things, and coupled with the gameplay being something different than I would expect in an RPG, where it really is like, here's a box, it's a bullet hell, good luck. And they did so many things with that throughout, like none of those were the same. And then to your point about trying to figure out how to like maybe do a pacifist run or whatever, playing with the act button and figuring out what to do and how many times you have to do it to get a certain thing. I'm sure there's a guide to min-max how to do that and make the most economical choices, or here's what these choices do. I mean, certainly that's out there. But to
also
go in,
just to discover yourself is, a sense of accomplishment.
Absolutely. Yeah. And to I don't know, get surprised at the end with the Flowey thing and somehow survive it. Was an accomplishment on that Twitch side of it, but then the more puzzly side, like figuring out what buttons, what actions, to get I think it was a dog or whatever to flex himself out of the picture or whatever.
Oh yes.
I think
the muscle dog, whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Called. Yeah.
Fairly memorable. Or the plane to crash. There's
with a weird turtle thing that you have to wash.
Oh God, the washing the turtle. That's right. Oof, so many. Interesting. Yes, bizarre is probably the right term. I mean, absolutely. By the end, like interesting for sure, but absurd, like you said. Clip art, like I'm avoiding clip art, like really badly done art here.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's so.
I am interested to check out Deltarune to see where he's gone next with his ideas for this kind of game, but I haven't heard as much about them as Undertale, I should say.
Right, and apparently it's taken a long time to even just get part of it out. Yeah,
it's only got the first 2 chapters, I believe, and there's still 2 more to go.
Yeah, but getting back to the like genocide or evil path thing, in games like Baldur's Gate, it's very obvious, like the evil path. It's always like kick puppies, kill people, stab them in the back, steal things, screw people over. Here, it's like you just are naturally presented that path. And if you don't know any better, you would just follow down without realizing that you're doing the evil path.
Right, because you're doing the thing you're normally supposed to do in RPGs, which is to battle whatever gets in your face.
Right, it's not made so explicit like it would be like games like Baldur's Gate, or those kinds of RPGs where there's this, you have your Paragon path, your evil path, maybe like a neutral path, but they're all very explicit. Like, oh, this is what you do if you want to get the evil ending, or whatever. Here, it's just the game tells you, like, oh, you shouldn't be killing the monsters, but it doesn't really, do it in a doesn't hit you over the head with it until the very end. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's true.
Like, if you didn't read the books, like I know some players don't. I like to read the books in games usually, unless they're too long. But here, like, if you don't go around and interact with all the things and read all the little books, you wouldn't even necessarily know that you shouldn't be killing the monsters.
Right, because
you wouldn't have gotten those signs or those books or whatever to tell you, like, oh, well, the monsters have souls, and when you just kill a monster, their souls are destroyed, and blah, blah, blah. And,
Yeah, they presented enough clues throughout, both if you picked up the books and read them, or if you just paid attention in the battles, which you did and I did not do. And thank God I was playing this game while doing this podcast, so you could, like, hey, dummy, yellow, that means something. They told you, which made the last 5 or 6 sessions of this game quite a bit different and maybe more enjoyable than the beginning. So it opened up and was more interesting when I was exploring how to show mercy or how to do anything other than be a murder hobo throughout these lands.
That's true, because like the damage mechanic is sort of basic. Like, it's not really that interesting.
No, it's really not.
And it's the same every time.
Yep. Yeah, that maybe is another reason why you're not supposed to be doing it, because it's probably the most boring part of any interaction is just getting the line to hit that weird ass symbol.
What is that thing?
I don't know. I keep thinking it was an eyeball, I guess. I really don't know. Yeah, I really don't know. But like the bullet hell part where you're avoiding is way more interesting. So it's like you're supposed to be avoiding getting hurt or avoiding hurting other people, maybe. I just think it kept pushing people towards, hey, there's a pacifist route through this game. Maybe check that out.
Yeah.
So
fascinating. It's like a fascinating game. I've never seen anything like it.
No, absolutely. I'm glad I played it.
Yeah, me too.
For sure. And I'm glad. Thank you so much for joining me on this ride, Scott.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, listeners, too, for joining us for Undertale. Thanks to those who watched my journey on YouTube at Prof and Dev Play Games. That's our YouTube handle. That was a lot of fun. Next on the RPG Backlog is going to be a one-shot just me talking about Elden Ring. But following Elden Ring, we have a new arc where we are diving into the Game Boy game from 1991, Final Fantasy Adventure, which, despite the name, is not a Final Fantasy game. It is a mana game. And we have a whole huge crew for that one. So thanks for sticking with us for that next arc. That'll be a lot of fun. But if you like us, please rate us on your podcast service of choice. And thanks so much for being here. And we will see you for the next podcast.